Hi everyone. Let's talk about this 3-hour special that AEW had November 19th, which was a fun show. Let's talk about it, guys. The man make their entrance for their opener, and Ricochet has some things he wants to say, and he starts out with "Fly, Eagles, fly, fly, Eagles, fly." Shout out to Max Rock for that one, and tells to the floats about their football team and says the only good thing that comes out of Massachusetts is his beautiful wife, Samantha Irving, and he needs to clear the air. And a few weeks ago, he was talking to Tony Khan, and he was surprised that Eric Owani didn't ask TK about MVP, and he says MVP is getting old and is dimensional and misspoke the name of the AW National Championship, of which he's going to be the first champion, and he storms rolls and the chance of shut up, shut up, shut up, you know what I'm saying, chants, which was awesome. And he says once he's champion, the fans are going to give him the respect he deserves, and he is flying high with his homies, the Gates of Agony, and nobody can stop him from full flowing his quest for gold. And finally, Lashley gets sick of hearing him talk, and he chugs Ricochet clean over the rope into the Gates of Agony and around the ring. And Bobby Lashley lands the bounce and then lands out Bishop Khan and puts Ty Lyle over the Timekeeper's barricade. Then the delight of MVP. Then Bobby Lashley faced Ricochet, which was a fun match, guys. Let's talk about it. So it finally starts inside, and Ricochet mounts a comeback and boom, 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 back and forth for a little while and stuff. Good stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then a pair of kicks and sitting shooting star press and diving moonsault only for two, and then charging in with the spirit gun. And Lashley counters and choke slams him hard off the rope. Then Lashley wins with the spear 1, 2, 3, and earns the number one spot into the AW National Championship Casino Gauntlet match for Full Gear, which we just talked about, guys. Then Samoa Joe and Shibata are backstage, and Samoa Joe cuts a promo on Hangman saying his only offense is that Hangman's whole rule of comfort is going to get very different very fast because he is guilty of crime and transgression against the odds, and his punishment starts tonight in form of Shibata and deadly by design, violent by ascent, essentially, and forming into sense on bringing Hangman into justice for what he did to Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs. And Renee Paquette interviews the Young Bucks backstage before they can speak, and Don Callis rolls up to tell her to leave them alone and tell the Bucks to show everyone why they're the best tag team on the planet, and they answer questions after. Then we had Josh Alexander and the Young Bucks fences Sky Flight. Oh man, Sky Flight is good. I'm telling you, Scorpio Sky and the brothers, the Martin brothers, Dante Martin and Darius Martin. Love those guys. The Top Flight, but now they're a trios team. Sky Flight. Oh, that's a good name too. Sky Flight, man. I'm telling you, they're really good. I'm telling you. And I can't wait for their match with Shane Taylor's promotion this coming Friday at Ring of Honor Final Battle, which is going to be awesome. Final Battle, Ring of Honor. Sorry guys, but they do deliver their pay-per-views. Their pay-per-views do deliver. And I don't care what anybody says on this app. I really don't care. So let's talk about it. So Dante and Matt to start flying over and ducking over, and both men go for double kicks and chip up to Soulmate and tags made, and Darius and Josh Alexander roll him through for a big wristlock takedown and whips to the corner and big elbow. Dante Martin cuts him off with a drop kick and upper kick to the corner, and Dante tags back in an awesome clothesline, quick tag to the suicide and a slingshot splash from Sky. And then Matt runs in and a also again. And then Matt Jackson runs in the man, you know what I'm saying, the Manhattan drop to a sense a face breaker to a belly to belly suplex over the rope onto the floor, and Nick onto the apron, and a super kick and shoulder block, and a slingshot X Factor to take Scorpio Sky out, and a Since moonsault for Darius, and a Shrimps Ball drop kick from Matt Jackson takes Dante Martin out, and Scorpio Sky tries to make the Bucks out, but Josh Alexander low bridges him to the floor as we go to the break, and then back to the break. Scorpio Sky gets a schoolboy on Josh Alexander, tag to Darius, and then clears the apron up and over and standing Spanish Fly suicide dive to take the Bucks out and back in with a boot and jumping reverse STO no deal. Then top flight with a moonsault powerbomb combo, and the Young Bucks break it up. Then the Bucks holding, I'll say again, the Bucks holding court, cutting top flight off of the air with a super kick party and BTE trigger counter into a double Since knocker, and Dante Martin lands a huge top rule and a springboard crossbody back inside and cover for two, and an ankle lock from Josh Alexander, and Martin fights out of it, and Matt comes back in a side step, and Alexander cuts him off, and the Bucks hit the I'll say it again, and the Bucks hit the Meltzer drive, the Meltzer drive, and Josh picks Dante's leg and falls back into the grapevines and ankle lock. Well, the Bucks run interference, and that's what happened, and that's how Josh Alexander and the Young Bucks win by submission with an ankle lock from Josh Alexander on Dante Martin, and that's how Josh Alexander and the Young Bucks won with the submission with an ankle lock from Josh Alexander into Dante Martin. Then the post-match, Don Callis and several members of the family get in the ring and say the world is watching and waiting for the Young Bucks to make the official announcement that they're joining the Don Callis family. And the Bucks insist, and Don says he gets it. They're nervous, and he reminds them that he's got the money flowing for them, and it's in their best interest to join. So just announce it for the people, and they still assent. And he says AEW is dangerous. AEW is dangerous, and he hates to see what happened to Kenny Omega and happened to him. And speak of the devil, Kenny Omega comes and cheers in, and he whips up Rocky Romero and Mark Davis and slides into the ring to brawl with Josh Alexander. Well, the Bucks huddle in the corner and offense. I'll say again, and they advance and pull Kenny off of Josh, and Josh Alexander comes back in with a chomp block and puts the ankle lock on Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks, and Don Callis orders Josh to let go before he had something better in mind, and he wants the Bucks to show they're joining the Don Callis family by giving Kenny Omega the old BTE trigger, and Don Callis gets a kick of his own waiting for them to get going, and the Young Bucks circle around while Kenny Omega recovers and begs off, and the grabs wrist lock, and the Jurassic Express are here, and Jack Perry has a shovel, and Luchadors has a vacuum cleaner, and that's what happened right there, guys. And then the base of Ruth, Wool Nightingale, and Harley Cameron are interviewed backstage. They talk about the tag title tournament and how they're going to win. And then commentary takes a moment to pay homage to one of the wrestlers, Bob Kennel, and Tony Schiavone talking especially about what it means to work with him and microphone to microphone back in 1985, putting him over as a great person and one ballot commentary Hall of Famer. Then they did the graphic and stuff, guys, which was good. Love AEW doing that. Shout out to AEW for doing that, guys. I didn't know that person very well as a commentator, but I know a lot of you wrestling fans that have been wrestling fans for 50, 60 years, 40 years, 30 years know who he was. So I appreciate you guys if you comment down below about that stuff too if you want. I know this show was about a week or 2 weeks ago, but I don't care. But anyways, let's talk about it. Mike Bailey fences Shelton Benjamin. This was a good match, guys. Let's talk about it. And Shelton Benjamin, this is why he got the second win, and that pin was crazy. That pin was crazy. How he pinned Mike Bailey and put his nose up top like that. That was crazy. That was crazy, I'm telling you. My uncle did that to me one time. That freaking hurt, man. I'm telling you. Pinning someone like that to their freaking nose. I don't care what anybody says. That was freaking cool. But let's talk about it, guys. So MVP is on commentary for his one, and Mike Bailey ducks under and big chomps, and Shelton Benjamin throws him into the corner, but Mike Bailey turns back right back around with chest kicks and big knees from Shelton and throwing Mike Bailey to the floor after and falling over after Shelton Benjamin grabs them and throws them back inside and bridging victory roll pin from Mike Bailey and following it up with a lost Crossa and blasting Shelton Benjamin to the floor with a boot and a suicide dive and counter with a driver onto the floor to send us to the break. And then back from the break, Shelton Benjamin with a near fall reverse chin lock to grind Mike Bailey down as MVP likes Shelton to a big cat playing with his food, and Mike Bailey gets out and landing kicks in a shooting star press only to get one and more chest kicks, and Shelton Benjamin gets back to his feet and a palm kick from Mike Bailey flying armbar connect but couldn't get full consistent on the arm, and Shelton with the deadlift powerbomb counter, and they both spilled to the floor, which was amazing. And then the ref issued his count, and Mike Bailey pulls Shelton Benjamin back down, but Shelton Benjamin returns the favor twice over and grabbing Mike Bailey back. But I'll say it again, Mike Bailey by the party in the back and powerbomb counter with a Frankensteiner into the barricade and DDT onto the floor right after. And the ref breaks his count to check on them and restarts as the ref heads back inside. Then Shelton Benjamin joins them in a shooting star press off the top, still no, and then a moonsault double knee cover for two right back into the cross armbar, and a huge wild tossing T-bone suplex connects, and Mike Bailey right back onto their feet in a schoolboy for two and big superplex, and Mike Bailey wouldn't sit down, and MVP gets in the ring to argue with the ref, and Shelton with a German suplex and counter knee, and that's how he won with the super kick, and that's how he won, and 1, 2, 3 with a crazy pin, and that's how he won 1, 2, 3, and that's how he got the number 2 spot. Then we go to the break. Then we go to the small break. Then we had the Death Riders fences OC and Roderick Strong. Claudio Castagnoli and John Moxley fences OC and Roderick Strong. Let's talk about it, guys. This was a fun tag team match. Let's talk about it. So OC and Moxley brawling onto the floor as Claudio Castagnoli and Roderick Strong go at it in the ring to the floor, and Roderick Strong hammering chomps on Claudio Castagnoli, and John Moxley comes over and they trade partners and back inside, and finally comes some orders settle in as Moxley tags in an elbow and chomp dribbling and Roderick Strong's face across the top rope, and in the heat statement rolls on, and OC returns to the ring and makes the tag and diving crossbody caught roll through, but the Sundog Billionaire sends Claudio to the floor off the ropes, and a dive caught Claudio with a military press, walking him over and dropping him face first into the barricade, and an uppercut for a knee, for a big boot, for an underhand chomp, all four men crawling onto the floor, and then OC onto the barricade and hands in his pocket for a twist fall suicide that whips the Death Riders out and sent us to the break. And then back from the break, Moxley nails Orange Cassidy with an elbow chop him into the corner and then tags to Claudio. Then Claudio lights him up with a rapid fire uppercut, and such as the ref has to pull him out of the corner, and Moxley with a chip shot while the ref is assists Claudio, and OC crawls for a tag, and Claudio rolls him through in a giant swing counter to a victory roll pin for two, then an uppercut for Orange Cassidy, boot cleared to the apron and takes two, and the Giants swing work this time as Sills only for 3 or 4 revolutions, and big DDT from Orange Cassidy crawling as Roderick Strong gets back on the apron, and tags are made, and Strong ducks under a leg lariat and clears the apron lariat, wrecking ball, drop kick, and an Incendiary and chomp and an elbow, but Moxley is into the ropes, and then off the ropes right and left, and back suplex, face buster, underhook, and a driver for 2, and then into Roger Strong's hold onto the kicked out. Then Moxley wavers, and De Garcia runs interference, and Roger Strong lets go, and Moxley nails him with the paradigm shift, and OC breaks it up, and Claudio sends Orange Cassidy into the floor with a Carolyn lift electric chair on Strong, and he lifts out, and then Olympic slam on Quadio, and a superplex takes Moxley down out of the corner, and Orange Cassidy tags in and nails Daniel Garcia with an orange punch, one for Moxley, two, and Wheeler Yuta on the apron and bailing Orange Cassidy out of the floor back in, and Quadio is right there in a twist death, and Moxley puts him in the bulldog choke, and that's how Moxley did the submission hold bulldog on OC Orange Cassidy, and that's how they won in that tag match. Then the post match, Kyle O'Reilly comes screaming down. I'll say it again. Post match, Kyle O'Reilly comes screaming down to pick Moxley's leg and try to break his damn ankle. Then Yuta and Garcia, attacked by Kyle, just smiles and he breaks after a bit, but sits right back up and puts the ankle lock right back on. And Death Riders finally manage to pull Moxley to the safety of the floor, but he's screaming agony. And Kyle gets on the mic and he says he wants Moxley at Full Gear and he wants a Knowles Holds Bars match, which we talked about, guys, just like the Blood and Guts, which we already talked about that stuff, and then the history books are going to say that Moxley tapped out, which it happened, which we talked about it. You can go back to my Full Gear review, guys, that I made just an hour ago. So yes, guys. And then Brodito cuts a promo on FTR and they prove that they're one of the greatest tag teams in wrestling, but they haven't been able to prove that they can beat them, and they're going to keep the tag titles because Brodito never stopped fighting, which they lost him to FTR, but I still love Brodito. Bendito. Sorry guys. Sorry, had to do that. And then we see Mercedes Moné walking backstage in a loving fur coat and gold wrist mine dress and carrying two of her titles as we go to the break. And then back from the break, Kenny Omega is backstage with the Jurassic Express. Then Kenny Omega says that they say money couldn't buy family or friendship, but Don Callis and the Young Bucks prove that's wrong. He's mad at Josh Alexander for hurting Kota Ibushi and Michael Nokosaka, the guy Michael N. I'll just say Michael N. Michael N. And he tells Don to count his money because his time is coming, and he tells that goodbye and good night. Bang! Oh man, love Kenny Omega when he says that shit. When he says good night, when he says goodbye, good night. Bang, 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 bang. Sorry, guys, had to do that. And when I do that, that's just a gimmick. That's just a gimmick, guys. That's his gimmick. Okay? If you're wondering when I say bang, I'm talking about bang to good stuff. Good stuff! Excuse me, guys. Now let's talk about Alex Winters and Riho fences timeless love bomb for the tournament, the first round. This was good with Riho and Alex Winters and timeless love bomb with Mia and Tony. This was a good tag team match for the AW World Tag Team Tournament for the first round. Let's talk about it, guys. Mia and Riho start, and Mia blasts her with a drop kick for one, and Rio with a crossbody for one, and Mia with a little shimmy roll through and a sweep the leg and trading pins for a soulmate and tag made test of strength. And Winters misses with her by switching head over and over again before finally grabbing the ankle lock. And Winters slips out and pins Deny inside headlock from Storms and shots up, drop down and a duck, a back elbow and do sis do and trading arm drag and off the ropes, and Alex Winters blasts her with a big elbow and tags Rio in, and a back breaker from Storms to tag Tamia, and a double whip sliding flipjack sets up a drop kick and a slingshot to rural neural cover for two, sending Storms and Mia to the floor and a six crossbody from Riho. And we go to the break, and then back from the break, Mia on the wrong side of town, and she gets away and tags Storms in an uppercut and a series of snap mares on Winters, a sense with a big boot to tag to Mia, and a sense total for two, and a great fighting to the leg for a Maria. Boom, 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 good stuff. Bam, 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 bam. Good stuff, I'm telling you. And Ramiro special, and Mia just stops the knee and figure four leg lock breaks, and Bees saw run house kick and Mia off the rope and counter blue thunder driver, and Mia kicks out, and then Winters tags out and takes care of Tony onto the floor and Rio off the top. Nobody's home, and Mia blasts her with two insert wrench in a roll and a figure four leg lock ascends to the middle of the ring, and Rio sits up and slaps her before reversing the pressure, and Tony attempts to put her back, and Winters does the same, and Tony tries again, but Alex Winters blocks, so they trade strikes till they collapse and break the leg lock up, and then Mia and Rio hammer each other with elbows and a dragon suplex for two off the rope. Then Mia Shirakawa meets her with a elbow cover for two. Then tags make, and Winters wins with the chomps and whips across side Russian leg sweep and a short lariat and back suplex followed cover. Nope. Then down and out in the corner, and Storms and Mia pace them with hip attacks and Storms hooks Winters, and while Mia sits on Rio and face in the corner, and Timeless Love Bomb wins with a pinfall with Tony Storms with the Storm Zero on Alex Winters, and that's what happened. Then Mark Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher and Don Callis are interviewed backstage, and Kyle Fletcher says he agrees to no DQ because he extremely confronts in his win record over Mark, and he confronts he's going to break the record for most defense in a single AEW TNT Championship title reign, and he also decided to see how Briscoe lives under a real family. And then Mark tells him not to talk to him about his family because every time he steps in the ring, he fights for his family with his road family and the collaboration, and he has no consent of leaving them behind. So when he agrees to the stipulation, he knows that failure was not an option, and he will not be leaving his family or letting them down. Matter of fact, he's going to make his family proud, and when he walks through the door, and that's what happened. And then Okada and Inchusiro jump Mark Briscoe and hold him in place for Don Callis to say he's going to make Mark Briscoe's kids Russins, and Kyle Fletcher thanks Okada for not agreeing to no assent, and Okada says he was happy to help. Then we go to the break, and then back from the break we get a Pac video package, and he says he's doing a lot of soul searching and thinks he deserves Darby Allin and an apology for promising him a broken neck and sending him to the burn warrant instead. But maybe he did both because nobody's seen Darby since, and at Blood and Guts, maybe he takes things too far, but Darby still has that backbone and he wants him to answer the question and he's challenging him to a legitimate challenge. No weapons, no curse, and no flaming throwers because stripping of his bell and whistle, there is no way someone like Darby can compete with a legitimate athlete like him. But we all know he had to have help with Wheeler Yuta's help to win that match with a baseball bat. But still was a great match. Like I said again, that opener at Full Gear. Then, then Samoa Joe makes his entrance to join the commentary team, and Hangman attacks Shibata during his entrance, and he takes Shibata over to the timekeeper's table and chokes him, and taking him to the announce desk into front of Joe for more beatdown, and back inside, and the bell rings, and Shibata blasts him with a boot, and that's what happened. And then we had Hangman versus Shibata, which was a fun match, which was a fun main event for Dynamite show. Let's talk about it, guys. Whipping Hangman barricade to barricade, setting a steel chair up onto the floor and covering blows and setting him in it and charging. But Hangman pops up and cuts him off and puts his boot through and Shibata's skull, throwing him back inside and kicks in the corner. And Shibata turns things around with clobbering elbows and uppercuts and side headlock. But Hangman counters with a backbreaker and cuffs him with a lariat to the floor, and Shibata with a strike suplex to Joe Delight, and we go to the break, and then back from the break, Shibata landing Fridge chomp in, and Hangman catches him and hits a fallaway slam and kicks up big right hands and passing Shibata to the floor, and a triangle lariat connects, and Plancha falls back inside and jockeying for precision, and a big boot to the corner from Shibata, backing off and hopping back over, and Shibata kicks him high, but legal on the higher tight, and Hangman down to the corner and skin the cat to counter the Sid's drop kick, and Bloodshot out of the corner and countered into a German suplex and lands on his feet and back and forth, boom, 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 bang, 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 ding, 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 and a cross armbar from Shibata after a low blow, and Hangman fighting. He gets his foot on the ropes to force and the break ankle lock and sits, and Hangman sits his boot to get out of it, and he puts it back on the apron, and Hangman with a blood shot, and that's how Hangman won with a with the buckshot, and that's how he won with the buckshot. 1, 2, 3, and that's what happened. Then we had Collision. Collision was a fun show too. Let's talk about it, guys. Collision begins with Hangman in the ring standing over Shibata while Samoa Joe stares him down, and Hangman gets on the mic and tells Joe to look around him. He might be surrounded by 1,000 of crazy fans sitting at the desk with commentary, and Joe is now alone. When he walks into the steel cage at Full Gear, he wants Joe to remember that he doesn't have Will Hobbs because he sent him to the hospital, and he doesn't have Shibata because he just sent him to, which that really didn't happen. We all know that, Powerhouse Hobb helped him. Powerhouse Hobb helped Joe, helped him, and Hooked turn his back on Eddie Kingston. And we all know that happened, and it was good heel work. I don't care what anybody says, but good heel work. I'm telling you that. Telling you guys, love what the Hobbs are doing as heels. Sorry to say that, but I enjoy it. So if you don't and you want to talk crap, get removed. Sorry to say that, but they are good. They are good. I'm telling you. Joe, love him. Shibata, oh man, Shibata, oh man, he gets you want to freaking slap your head because he does so many good stuff. Like Okada too. It makes you just want to say, when we have people crapping on this stuff. It makes me mad. Really does, man. You want to wish a company's deceased? Like, really? Like, go watch something else than wrestling because you don't deserve to be in the wrestling community. You really don't. You really don't. For wishing a company's deceased, get the fuck out of my community. Get the fuck out. Sorry, my language. That's my heel That's my heel talk. I should not say the F word, but get the heck out of my community. I mean to say, get out of my community if you think that any wrestling company should go out of business. You should just leave the community for good, for freaking good. I mean it. I freaking mean it. And I'm sorry for going on my rant, but it's the truth. But it's the freaking honest truth. And if you don't like it, and you wrestling fans allow that crap, I'm sorry to say that, but I like to cuss. I'm in that mood right now. I'm sorry to say that, but you're the problem. You're the issue in this community if you allow that crap. Sorry to say that, but that's just my opinion. But carry on. But I gotta carry on. And I don't care, Prince. You let me do what I want to do, bro. Because it's my freedom. It's my freedom, bro. This is my channel and it's my freedom. So, yes, guys. So, AW Collision begins with Hangman in the ring standing over Shibata. Well, Joe stares him down, and Hangman gets on the mic and tells him, all that stuff. Like I said again, guys, and most importantly, he wants him to remember what happened the last time Hangman was locked in a steel cage with a man. We all remembered that one. Well, it was with, Swerve, but, it was still a good match. But, Hangman won that match at All Out 2024, if y'all remember that one. And Swerve should have won that match, in my opinion. I don't care what anybody says in this community. Swerve served that win. But anyways, carry on. Before I go on my little tantrum again, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, you guys should be happy that Joe is AEW World Champion. You guys should be happy. I'm sorry to say that, but that's just my opinion. And for you complaining and whining over Hangman losing, like I said again, he'll be AEW World Champion before you know it again in the future. It might take him 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. You never know. So calm down your horses. Calm down your horses, people. But anyways, let's talk about it because if he has to, he will do it again. I'll repeat it again, guys. So yes, guys. So Hangman gets on the mic and tells Joe to look around him, and he might be surrounded by tons of crazy fans and sitting at the desk with commentary. And Joe is down alone, and he walks into the steel cage at full gear, and he wants Joe to remember that he doesn't have Powerhouse Hobbs because of that, about the hospital, and then Shibata reached sentence, and the most importantly, he wants him to remember what happened with him in another steel cage match, which I just talked about. So yes, guys, and because if he has to, he will do it again, which he tried and he lost. But it was still a great match, and I give praise to Hangman. Give it up to Hangman too, guys. I'm telling you, Hangman, he deserved that too. I'm telling you, he was a good AEW World Champion, but Joe, I like Joe better. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to hurt your, but I love Hangman as a wrestler. I'll always love Hangman as a wrestler, but he could have worked things out with you know who. That's in WWE now, and I don't care what you people say in the comment section. I really don't care. So, okay, then we get a promo from FTR and Stokely Halfway asks Bro Dito if anything they're done will hold up in 9 years, and Cash Wheeler tells them to enjoy tonight. There's no shenanigans, and they're not going to attack, Ricky Steamboat or any Crappa. I'll say again, any Crappa. And Dex Harwood says Saturday is important because it's the match they're going to build the next chase of their career on and ensure they go down as the best tag team of all time, which they proved. They already proved us that they're one of the best tag teams, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But you can disagree with me. But to crap about it and say that they should lose their jobs and all that stuff, get the heck out of my community. Like I said again, get out of the heck out of my community. But anyways, guys, let's continue. So we have Maria Shafir and Megan Bain fences Titan J, Anna J, and Ty Mello in an AW Women's World Tag Team Championship Tournament first round match, which was good, guys. A little fun match. Let's talk about it, guys. And in my opinion, Titan J should have won this match. Anna J and Ty Mello should have won. But still, I was happy with Maria Shafir and Megan Bain winning. I was happy for them. But let's carry on, guys. So Ty Mello and Maria Shafir to start and trading takedowns, and Ty wins it in with elbows, but Maria Shafir shirts off and takes her down again and whips reverse and tie Mello back and her into the corner with more elbows and tags to Anna Jay and double Tuplex connects and Hill team takes control and Megan Bain tags in and takes Titan J out as we go to the break and then back from the break, Mello in hot putting boots to Megan Bain and a German Tuplex for Maria Shafir sends German Tuplex onto Megan Bain and Titan J charges a corner strike match breaking down and Anna Jay blasts Megan Bain with a reverse TKO and Titan I'll say it again. Ty Mello hits a running knee blockbuster for Anna Jay, no deal, and Maria Shafir chokes Anna Jay out, and that's how Maria Shafir and Megan Bain won with Maria Shafir choking out Anna Jay, and that's how they won. And then the post match, Maria Shafir keeps the hold on for a long beat and repeatedly kissing Anna Jay's forehead. Then Timeless Love Bomb appears on the Titron, and Tony Storm says they're going to win the four-way at Full Gear, and they could pick anything as the stipulation for their sim final in a chicken scoop match or a apartment wrestling, or Mia adds a death match, which we're going to get that this week, guys, with the hardcore death match, which is going to be crazy. Like I said again, that's going to be crazy, but good stuff on Dynamite. Good stuff! I'm telling you guys on Dynamite, that's going to be hardcore stuff, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Then Chris Stellanter cuts a promo on Mercedes Monet about her lack of focus ahead of her match at Full Gear as we go to the break. And then back from the break, Bang Bang Gang cuts a promo backstage about the 20,000 tailgate brawl for the four-way, which we talked about, and all of that. And he's focused on the money and how he's going to sense it so they going to be rich and stuff, which happened and stuff. And then we had Okada fences Mascara. This match was good. With Mascara fences Okada. Good stuff, good stuff. Man, I'm telling you. Oh, man, good stuff. Oh, man. So this match was a double Jeopardy match, which is said to winner gets a shot at the losers championship in Okada's AW and qualifying championship, or either of Mascara's CMLL World History Weight Championship or the CMLL World Trios Championship he holds. And you know what happened, guys, and that was a trios match for the CMLL World Trios Championships, and Else Guys team won and stuff, which we'll talk about this right here. So Don Callis is on commentary for this one, and Collar and Albo struggling into the ropes, and Okada breaks clean with a pad on the chest and circling back to the lockup, and Okada cuts him down with elbows and off the rope in a leg lip frog back roll since Contorora block and back flip ankle lock, and Mascara steps up balance and in a press fake out, and he takes Okada down, and Mascara off the ropes, and nobody's home, and fakes out taunt, and Okada playing mind games, and Mascara gets frustrated and kicks a rope and lands the crowd in chanting, the B word. So I already said it. You know what I'm saying, guys, with my lips. You know what I'm saying? People that have hearing, they probably already heard me say that already. And at Okada breaks the count and shoves Makara into the barricade back inside off the ropes, and big dive whips Okada out and drop kick sends Mascara back out to the floor, and we go to the break, and then back from the break, Mascara with a gamer group, and he's about slipped off the turnbuckle, but still hits the driving DDT on the apron and back inside, and a monkey flip and a Frankensteiner, and Mascara is hurting, and Okada to the floor, and Mascara lands a huge suicide dive and an edge crusher over the barricade, and a diving Frankensteiner, and Mascara in control, and back inside, Okada cuts him off and scoops a slam and diving elbow drop and a step stoom flip the middle finger, which was awesome. The whole thing with the middle finger, that was awesome, guys. And then back slide, no deal, and drop kick right onto the bottom, and drawing Mascara up in a Rainmaker counter and rolling sunset flip so close and charging into the corner, and Mascara puts him up top, and Incenari electric chair double cinch slam, and Mascara off the top 450 splash, still no, and Okada takes him off in the top, and Mascara catches him out of nowhere with a small package, and Okada with a Falcon Arrow and a twist lock, and Okada wins with the Rainmaker and earning one of Mascara's championships. And you know what that was? That was for the CMLL Trios titles, guys, and that was a fun match with the L Sky team winning. Like I said again, I'll repeat myself, and I don't care. And I don't care how much you make fun of me, how much you hate me. I don't care. And I'm going to go on a rant because I'm going to change my name to CJD Killer because I'm getting to the point of doing that stuff. But you can always call me CJD 2006. But but on X, I'm already CJD Killer 2006. So you guys better bow down to that CJD Killer 2006. I'm sorry to be rude to the people, the replay viewers, for the people that are mean, but for the people that are nice, I love you guys. I appreciate all the love and support. But for the big buttholes out there, I love being like one to you because you got to be one to me. It's called karma. What comes around goes around. Sorry to say that, but that's just my anger. I'm sorry to say that, and I'll say freedom of speech. I'll say freedom of speech. From now on, if you say something rude to me, I'll just say freedom of speech. I don't care anymore. Freedom of speech. I used to live in that. We used to live in a world like that, which was awesome, in my opinion. Before you had to freaking cancel people over an opinion. Over an opinion. But anyways, I'll carry on, guys. Post-match, Don Callis gets on the mic and roams about what a great win for the family, and this is makes official for their challenge for the CMLL World Trios Championship, and the match will be at Full Gear and will versus a Don Callis family and dream team of Okada and Inchasura and Tutesta. Like I said again, guys, then Okada since none to please to be teaming with. I'll say it again. Okada is Vince none too pleased to be teaming with Tutesta again. Then Renee Paquette interviews the Sisters of Sin backstage, and they talk about the base of Ruth's sin, since Ruth, but also pride, and their third sin is them. And Tekla rolls up to talk about what's sick and twisting stuff, and they're going to come up with a stipulation when they win the four-way, which we already know, which I already talked about. Then Chris Enter makes her entrance to send us to the break. Then we had the main event with Mercedes Moné fences Red Velvet, and Mercedes Moné became the Ring of Honor World Television Champion, qualifying champion, guys. I'll say it again. Mercedes Moné became the new Ring of Honor Women's World Television Champion, qualifying champion. I'll say it again. Mercedes Moné became the Ring of Honor Women's World Television qualifying champion, guys. But carry on. Anyways, I'm going on. So Chris enters on commentary for this match and falling out of the ropes and allows Matora into a victory roll pin by Red Velvet and whips a crossbody headlock takeover, and both women go for drop kicks and come up empty, and Red pie face Mercedes Moné and body blow into the corner into the floor, and Mercedes Moné takes control and waves some of her titles in Chris Enter's face back to Red Velvet brawling, and Mercedes Moné throws her into Chris Enter and back inside, and Chris Enter onto the apron, and Red Velvet does an Eddie Guerrero special, and the referee isn't buying it, and since Mercedes holding that title, but it's good for Red Velvet to get a near fall as we go to the rake. And then back from the rake, Red Velvet counters a suplex with a crossbody for two, then off to the ropes and with a shove, with a shove, and then a Las Matora drop Bulldog and a double knee in the ropes and bouncing Mercedes off of them and covering for two, and Mercedes Moné out of nowhere with the statement maker, Richard and way back, and Red Velvet counters with a scissor with, I'll say it again, with a cross armbar, and I'll say it again, guys, Red counter with a short arm, I'll say it again, with a short arm scissor, with an arm scissor. Oh, thank goodness my brother texted me. My brother said that my Broncos won. Okay, thank you, bro. Appreciate you, brother Sack. Even if he was watching my YouTube channel, if he ever watches my YouTube channel, I want to give him a shout out, my other brother Sack. But I'm happy that he texted me. He just texted me that my team won. So I appreciate you giving me that last second thing that they want to get in a last second with a field goal. It is what it is, I guess, with the Broncos. But they need to start making more touchdowns. More freaking touchdowns, I'm telling you. But anyways, this is a wrestling review, but carry on. So yes, guys, back to the whole thing. Red Velvet's crawling and Mercedes Monet throws her into Chris Statlander back inside, and Chris Statlander onto the apron, and Red Velvet does the Eddie Guerrero special, and Ref isn't buying it and despise Mercedes holding a title, but it's good for Red Velvet to get a near fall as we go to the break, and then back from the break, Red Velvet counters a slam with a crossbody for two off the ropes with a shove and a Lisdora Bulldog double knee in the ropes and bouncing Mercedes off of them and cover for two, and Mercedes Monet out of nowhere with the okay, hold on, I'll be back, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Got a call. Told them to call me back later. Goodness, I'm doing a show and they want to interrupt it. Go ahead, I don't care. Told them to call me tomorrow or whenever after I'm done doing a lot of my reviews because I'm giving you guys a lot of reviews tonight and I don't give a damn. You're gonna get a lot of reviews. So, anyways, guys, carry on. So, yes, guys. So, Mercedes counters with a pin and a hold broke, and Red Velvet ducks and dodges and lands a kick in, and Mercedes Monet catches one and returns the favor, and Red Velvet lands a cinch German suplex and a rolling soul butt and a letter press for two, and Red Velvet follows it up with an octopus hold and reverse and a tombstone core breaker no deal, and then Red Velvet mounts punches in the corner and an avalanche victory roll driver so close, and Mercedes Monet fires back with back-to-back elbows and counters the tombstone, setting Mercedes up top and shocking for precision and an avalanche tombstone cold breaker, and it's over, and that's how Mercedes won with the avalanche tombstone cold breaker, and that's how she won and became the undisputed Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. And the other thing, guys, I got to say before I end this video is that Mercedes Monet is facing Red Velvet for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship again at Ring of Honor Final Battle, and we'll see what happens. And I hope Red Velvet wins, but if Mercedes Monet retains, then we might as well just call her the Tom Brady or the Tom Brady of wrestling. Sorry, of the NFL. She's the Tom Brady of the NFL. I'm sorry, guys, but just being goofy. But Mercedes is going to go down as the most title belt holders. You know what I'm saying, for having like 20 belts or something like that, guys. And I don't mind it. I know a lot of people don't like her, but I do. I mean, I love her ring ability, but I think she should get other people over, in my opinion. I know a lot of you are going to say, "Oh, you hate Mercedes Moné." No, I just want to see other people have belts. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion. If you don't like what I got to say, go watch somebody else. So carry on. Post match, Mercedes Moné climbs on the announce desk to celebrate and throws the title at Chris Statlander and jumping down, and she locks the statement maker in and tells Chris Statlander that her titles is hers, and that's what happened. And we all knew Chris Statlander retained the AW Women's World Championship, and we talked about that, guys, already. So you can go watch my full gear review for that one. But anyways, guys, that's all I have to say. And I gave this collision a 7 out of 10. It was a decent show. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It was a decent show. So yes, guys, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always, guys. And this is Christopher Jackson, Denver, 2006. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit those notification bells as always, guys. and peace out and take care. And I might change my name again to CJD Killer 2006. You never know. But anyways, I'm going to keep this because I love this CJD 2006 thing. So yes, guys, you can always call me as Christopher Jackson Denver. That's the real meaning of it. So yes, guys, and I love you very much, all the supporters. But for the people that are buttholes, go watch someone else. And if you don't like my channel, go watch them. That's all I gotta say. So yes, guys, don't forget to like the video. Like I said again, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always. And this is Christopher Jackson Denver 2006. And peace out and much love.